Welcome friends. Today I'm going to discuss about the integration between Angular 7, JWT and H2 database. And here I have already given the GitHub link for the Angular and GitHub link for the Spring Boot and the URL for the JWT, where I have used the specific algorithm to generate the token. Okay, so same that algorithm I have used in the Spring Boot, that is server side. Now let us see what is JWT. It is JSON Web Token. So why JSON Web Token is coming into picture? In traditional approach, suppose you are making REST API as secure. If you are not making as secure, then no need this kind of token, okay? And you no need to log in with your credentials. So suppose API 1, API 2, API 3 all are secure. So if you are login to that API 1, you have to log in with your user ID, password, hard coded. API 2 also, API 3 also. So if you have, imagine if you have hundreds of API and every time you have to log in, it's annoying, right? So the new approach is first time you are authenticate. You have to give that user ID, password, and what Spring application will do, it will check with the database or in-memory database. Here I have used the H2 database and check it is authenticate, so it will get the token. So what I have done here with the bearer token, adding that bearer with that token and using that token for the next call. So how that token has been created, it's using that algorithm and with that algorithm username and the date and time. So that way token has been generated. So using that token we are accessing different API. First I need to create the project. So what are the dependency we need to give here? It's a Spring Web, Spring Security. It's obvious we have uh, prepared the secure application. H2 database and JPA is required, and for the token JWT I have to give this one, that is IO JSON Web Token JJWT. Okay, so this is the first approach to create the application. Now forget about the preparation of the JWT. For any authentication you need database data to be that you need have base set of data which will authenticate. So first what I have done using @post construct, I have inserted data into H2 database. Okay, so right now I have user ID, password, this one, and we are able to access. Okay, so before coming into details, let me show you how it is getting authenticated. So here this is the authenticate, and what I have to give, so here I have to give the username and password. Here you see that username WP or any of it, it will be fine. So if you do that, it will authenticate you and give you a token. So how it will going to give you a token? So let's see what is the response. So this is the token. Okay, so what is present in the token? Let's see in the JWT. So let's copy paste here. Here you see that Rabi. If I change it to different thing, say here I have say Baba, and change that, and with that password also I am going to change it here. So I am going to copy paste. So this will also give you the token, another token. For why I am calling that, it's username specific. So earlier it was Rabi. If you change it, you see that token name has been changed. So what are the part of the token? Is the header part, payload part, and all in the JSON format. And as the HS256 algorithm has been used. Now let's see in the authentication part. So this is the structure of it. So first you have that application, configuration, controller is the entity, filter, and the util. Okay, so first going to that authentication part. So what is its requirement? So what it will do, first I get that request, right? So what is present in the auth request is the username password. So here is the username password. So same thing I have to pass in the body of the authentication. Okay, so what is that body of the authentication? So username password I have given, and after coming here, what it will do, it will authenticate, that is it will check the database, because earlier what I have done, I have already loaded the data with that in the H2 database with the users. So 4 row I have added. So what I am going to do that in the database H2 database, from the request I am going to compare here. Okay, and where it is going to compare here, so since it's that with the API Spring Security API, you have to go to the that service. Okay, here the service it will going to compare first. So where is the service? So this is the service, and before showing the service, how the repository has been created. So the repository has been created here. Repository has been created with the user as a model object and the integer the ID, and I have given find by name, and I have used this find by name in the customer details service. Okay, so this one I have used. So it will give, if you provide that name from that H2 database, it will provide you the user, that is the object, and this service here, after hitting that authenticate call request, so it will compare that database and populate the user data. So internally it will check. Okay, so here users, this users is the Spring, it's not for the uh, customize. Okay, so this is the customize what I have provided, and this one is Spring provided. So this user dot get name, this is coming from the database, and the password, and within that it will prepare finally the user detail object. So finally it will making authenticate here. And what's the goal here for authentication? It's a goal here first to compare that database of whether it is correct or not, and here I am going to generate token finally. So next part is that how the token has been created. Okay, so this the first part is that how loading database data with the database I have given 8081. Okay, now next part is the authenticate, what I have already covered here. Algo generate JWT token, and configuration it will allow only the authenticate. Okay, if you see the configuration, it will allow only the authenticate. Okay, so in the configuration itself you will see that only authenticate is allowed, no other is allowed in the URL. Okay, for any other case you have to give the token. Okay, now how the token has been created, this is the part. So in the welcome container, let's see how token, I have provided the username. Okay, and with the username I am going to generate token. So here first part is that matching username database, that's done. Now this is the part of the token generation. how that token has been created. So here you see that create token with the username and with the, it's a 10 hours, so with the date. So if I use the same token tomorrow, it will not work. And the signature algorithm, you see that HS256. You see the JWT, here I have used the HS256 algorithm. There is multiple algorithm you can use, but I have used here, so I have checked from here. So this is the algorithm. And for the configuration, I was allowing only the authenticate. Okay, so this way you are finally getting token. So how you are getting token? So what I have already shown here. So first you give that authenticate, you give username, password, and with that auth request, and finally you are getting the token. Now the next part is what I will do with that other API, right? So let's see what are the other API. I have one of the API that is all users. Okay, so let's see, hit that all users directly. What I see, that 403, that authentication error. So what I have done, using the token what I got from here, this token I have added here. Okay, and BRR, and with the space, with that token I will get the value. So here I got the value. Same thing, there is a two API has been exposed in the welcome controller. One is that direct just string value returning, another one is that list of the user what I have saved here. Okay, you remember that first time what I saved, Rabi, Radur, Babama, say everywhere username, password. So I can get it here using the token value. So now the question is, where is that BRR has been added? Let's see. So I have to go to the filter, because what is the reason for using filter? This filter, for every request, one per request filter, this is going to invoke. That means when you are going to invoke that all users, it's going to invoke, and here from the request itself, along with that API, I have also passed that authorization header. Okay, BRR space. So what I am going to do with that filter, do filter internal. So I have this request. So what I am going to do, I have to capture the username from the request and also the token from it. Okay, and you know that starts with BRR. So always starts with BRR. We are going to capture, and I will get the token and the username. So what is the username? You know the username, if you see here, uh, you will get the username from here. So similar, I mean, from the authorization header, and that extract username, how to get the extract username, uh, that's the internal process. Okay, how to extract the username. Let me go to the filter itself. So util.extract username, so this is the internal functions is there, and from there you are able to extract claims, you are going to resolve, so that complex stuff uh, from the token itself. So when you are passing this token, uh, using this token, it will give you the username. So we using the algorithm, so decode, by decoding you will get the username and you are getting the token. So now the next question is, what it will going to do, it will validate the token, right? So whether I can give any token, it will not work. If you give any token, you will get the 500. Say I just write some just tampering token, so you will get the 500 error or some 403 error, right? So you will get that 403 error, so you have to give the correct one. So correct one is from here. So let me correct it again and see. So if the token is correct, only then we are getting the data. And if the same token, if I use tomorrow, it will not work. Okay, so how to validate the token? So this is the logic. So extract username equals to token username. So token, what is the username content, and what is that username from that request, and the username in the uh, and we are going to comparing it, and the is whether the is token is expired or not. So I will get that accordingly. Okay, so this is part like how we are going to get it. So first load service comparing database, and now it's in the configuration. uh, I have added the JWT filter. Okay, so using this filter, it will allowing only authenticate URL is allowing, and for any other cases it will coming through the filter. So if the filter is matching, then only it will be allowing it. Okay, so it's a validating token, what I have already shown here. Now the next part is the Angular integration. To make Angular work, there is a two parts. From the Java part, what I have to do, in the controller section, if you go to the controller section, I have to write the cross origin, and the with the cross origin. So if I put it cross origin, it will allow, or you if you can add HTTP, anything is fine, because it's a 4200, you have to add it. And in the configuration itself, you have to add HTTP course. Okay, it will allow to access Angular. And let's see from the Angular itself. Okay, let me close everything. So here I see that if I give the proper user ID and password, say proper user ID password p, you will see that you will get the token also, what I have given here. And if you find users, you will get that. So using that, otherwise if you just coming from here, and let me close it and show it again. First time you have to give what I have given here in the body, say username and password, authenticate, right? Username and password, same thing I have to provide it here. So this is the same thing I have to provide it here. So is the persons, there is the one of the API I am directly trying to access uh, all users API. Okay, and if I am trying to access all users API, say all users API, what I get 403. Same thing I am trying to do it from Angular itself. So I am trying to access, you see that 403 here. So how to fix that? So we have JWT token to fix that. So what I have done, what I have done that first, when I have given the login, in the login itself it is invoking that service, in the service itself the authenticate. here you see that's it's not authenticate. That part is done. Now the next part is that all users, right? So here in the all users, get users, so when once it's authenticate, I am going to add the header. Here I am adding here from the postman, from Angular itself, using the interceptor, adding the header. And once header added, and every 1 and 2 combine and hit that API, I will get the data after hitting find users. Now let me show it like how it is prepared for login. So when you are going to login, you are giving that username and password, and in the service it's going to invoke, right? So service is going to invoke and it's authenticate, since it's passing as a string in the welcome. Authenticate, you see that it's a string, it's not JSON. So what I have to do, response type is the text and JSON, and username password. And again coming back here, not here, so what I'm going to do, in the session storage itself I'm storing token and the username. So that is done. When you are going to log in, say let me log in here. So here you see that login response. uh, the login response will give that token, and with that token I am adding the bearer. Same thing what I have done in the postman itself. When I am hitting any API bearer, so same thing I am going to simulate here. And to do that I am storing in the session storage token and the username. And for hitting any API like all users, this is going to invoke, and not this one. Let me go to the here. I am adding the authorization. Same thing like authorization with that bearer token. I have given the token and the username, so checking that validity and request clone and adding that authorization for every request. That is all headers, so all users and anything it starts. So here I have checked for the all users, so that way it will giving you the response. So since I have login and coming to the person page, so it will give you the data. Now the next part is the committing data, right? For I have just added, like if you see that what are the useful comment is required to add, git status, git add -a, so it will add everything, and git commit -m, it will give you the commit. And if there is some problem, you can use the git reset hard, okay, in the head, and you can git push origin, okay, and you can create the pull request, okay, using that uh, branch name, remote branch name. You have to give the username password. And here you see that after doing that, I see that that PR has been, pull request has been given, so I can create the pull request from here. So I have created pull request, and after that merging it. So I'm going to merge it. So once it's merged, you can see it that it has been merged. So this is the way we can integrate Angular Spring Boot security, that is JWT H2 database, and also I have shown the that git push, okay, how to push the code. Okay, this way we can push the code. Okay, hope you have enjoyed. Thank you very much.